Today I'm going to show you how to make Roo to add to our Winnie the Pooh collection. In order to create him, you will need about 135 brown bands, 30 blue bands. You can use the dark blue like I did here. Today for my Roo I'm going to use the lighter blue from Rainbow Loom. I think it's the ocean blue. And you'll also need one black, and then you'll need 2 dark blue pony beads. If you don't have pony beads, you can use 2 blue bands. Just wrap them 4 times on your hook to create the eye. And then today, since I'm using the lighter blue, I'm actually going to use a light blue pony bead for my Roo for the tutorial. So if you want to go ahead and grab your supplies, we can go ahead and get started. The first thing that we are going to be creating is Roo's ear, and a lot of this design was based around DIY Mommy's kangaroo. I spoke with her because a kangaroo is a kangaroo. No matter which way you go about it, it's kind of hard to make a completely different kangaroo. So, you know, I spoke to her because a lot of people were asking for Roo and also for Kanga. So a lot of the design is based off of her kangaroo, so you will see some similar things in there. So we are going to start with the ear today. I've already made one of them, so I'll show you how to make one, and then you can pause the video to make the second one. You're going to start at the top of your loom with a single brown band, creating a triangle, and then bringing a single brown band down once on the left, another single on the right. You then want to take one pink band. I might have missed this one when I did my band count. Sorry about that. So you want to grab a pink. If you don't have any pink, just use a brown band. Coming down once from the center, top center to the second. And then taking a single brown, you're going to double it. And we are going to create a diamond on these 4 pegs here. We then want to cap this off, creating 4 loops. And once we've done that, we can begin looping. So you're going to go in under this capping band. We do not want to grab both bands, so since it's a single double, you're only going to be grabbing one. You'll divide them apart. So go in, and you're going to bring one to the left, and you want to pull gently because it's going to be very tight. And then one to the right. And then go ahead and bring your pink band up. Going in here, bringing up the right side, and release the tension. Same thing on the left. And then we're going to bring them to the center. And then you can release it to the top. And then when you pull it off, just grab the tip on the top of the ear and just pull that out. Stretch it out a little. And then set that aside for later. So go ahead and pause the video, make a second ear, and then we'll move on. The next part we will be making is Roo's arm. I've already made one of them, so I'll show you how to make one, and then you can pause the video to make the second one. You're starting on the top left with 2 blue bands, and we're going to come down 3 times. Then coming down with 1 brown band, you're going to single double once, and we're going to cap it off with 4 loops. We can then go ahead and loop that up to the top. And remove it and set it aside for later. Go ahead and pause the video, make a second arm, and we'll continue. The next part we'll be making is his hind legs. I've already made one, So I'll show you how to make one and then just pause the video to make the second. We'll be using brown bands, and we're starting with 3 brown bands on the top right, coming down 2 times, so 3 bands again. Then taking 3 more bands on the center second to the center third peg. You then want to take 2 bands, and we are actually going to double these. So take both bands together and double them, coming down from the 3rd right to the 4th right. And then taking 2 bands from the 4th right to the 5th. And then we are going to cap off this bottom one 4 times. And we're going to loop this up, so you want to go up with the first 2, bringing up this doubled band, then taking the first set of 3 and bringing those to the left, and then grabbing these 3 and bringing them straight up, and bringing this last one up. We can then remove that and set that aside. So go ahead and pause the video to make the second hind leg, and we'll continue. The last part that we're going to make before we move on to his body is his tail. You'll be starting at the top of the loom here with a single brown band coming down once. And you want to do that straight across, so one band in the middle and 1 on the right. We will then be using 2 brown bands on left and 3 brown bands on the center, and then 2 brown bands on the right. And then coming down the left with 1 band, we'll come down 2 times. And then we're going to come from the left 5th peg to the center 7th peg. So you're actually going to stretch past the normal V. And then repeat that on the right side, so coming down twice with a single, and then stretching it to the center. And then filling in the center, we're going to do 2 bands from the 3rd to the 4th, and then filling in the rest of this way with 2 single brown bands. Coming off that last peg, you're going to take 2 brown bands, and then we're going to cap off the bottom with 4 loops. We're then going to place some of our crossover bands, so starting at the top with a single brown, we're going to leave the very top alone, so the second pegs down is a single double, creating our triangle, and then another single double, another single double, and then for the very last one, this one will actually be a triple. So the easiest way to do that is to take your band and cap the peg 3 times, creating 3 loops. Take your hook, and we are going to gently, and my bands break sometimes when I do this, bring it across. If you cannot do 3, then just go ahead and do a single double triangle here. But 3 works best. Once these are in place, we can go ahead and begin looping. So go in under the capping band, grabbing those 2 bands and bringing them forward. Grabbing the first single band, bringing that forward, and we can go ahead and loop straight up the middle. Coming back down, grabbing our next single, going to the right. On this one, you'll want to release the tension from that tripled band. and repeat that going to the left. We can then go ahead and release this up to the top. And if you see here, I have broken a band. And I'm going to grab my holding hook. And pull it all off. In this case, normally I would just go back and remake the entire tail, but I am going to see if I can just pull this out for now. Hopefully it was not a detrimental band. Okay, and there's the tail, so we're going to set that aside to attach to his body. Now we can go ahead and begin with the body. I will be using double bands unless I specify otherwise. We're starting with brown, coming down from the top to the left with 2 bands, and doing that as well to the right. Taking 2 more bands on the left, coming down once on the right, and then coming into the chin peg with 2 bands on both sides. We are then going to come off, or we need to fill in the center, so 2 brown bands coming down to the chin peg. Then coming off the chin peg with a single band, coming once out to the left and once out to the right. And then we are coming down with 1 band on the left and 1 band on the right. And then we will be using 3 brown bands in the center. And this section here is the neck. And then taking 2 bands from this center 4th peg to the left 4th. And repeat that going to the right. And then taking 2 more brown bands coming down in the center. We're now going to switch to blue. So we're going to take 2 blue bands and we're going to come down 3 times on the left. That's 2. And 3. And then repeat that on the right side. And then filling in the center, we'll be using 3 blue bands, 3 more, and we will then switch back to the brown. So on the left, coming down once, and then bringing it in with 2 bands. Repeat that on the right. Then filling in the center with 3 brown bands here and 2 brown bands here, just like that. Now we can go ahead and attach some of our pieces. We can go ahead and grab our arms. They're going to go on the left 4th peg and the right 4th peg. And then our ears will go on the top left and the top right. just like that. And we can go ahead and take our tail and attach that. At the top of the tail we had 3 sets of 2 bands. So you'll place 2 of them here, 2 here, and 2 here. And then we also want to go ahead and place our hind legs. And those, if you look at them, we had 2 sets of bands. So this, on this first leg here, see this group and this group. You'll see a divided V in between. There's 6 bands on each set. So this leg will go here on the 7th peg down. And then this set will go here on the 8th peg down. And repeat that on the other side. And just like that. Now we just need to place some of our crossover bands and our eyes. So starting with our crossover bands, at the top here we will be placing a single brown on the 2nd peg for the diamond and push it down. Then take a single brown and pinch it. And we can go ahead and place our beads. And that will also be placed on that 2nd peg. And we want to divide the eyes and bring both bands up over the top. Just like that. And then coming down the body on this peg here, so here's the chin peg, and then right on the same 2 pegs where the arms are, you're going to take a single brown and double it. Just like on the tail, we need to create a tight neck here, so we're going to create a triple. So we'll create 3 loops on this peg, and take your hook, and stretch it across. We're then taking 2 blue bands right below the arms, creating our triangle. Same thing on the next one down. Switching back to brown and creating a triangle here as well. And this is what you should have. We also need to place a capping band down here. So you're going to cap this off with 3 loops. Just like that. Now we can begin looping. So we want to go in under the capping band. I find that pulling this tail back and hooking it on this peg just so that I can see exactly what I'm grabbing helps. So go in, grabbing the first 2 bands and bringing those up. Grabbing the next 2, going to the right, and my next 2 going to the left. And then so my tail doesn't stretch out too much, I'm going to pull that back off that peg. We can now go up the right side. Remember when you go when you go in through the arm, we actually have a couple sets here. So the first one is 2 bands. You want to grab the first 2, bringing those into the center, and then go back in, grabbing this single band and bringing it up. and release the tension around the arm. We can now repeat that on the left side. Same thing over here. You should be grabbing 2 bands, bringing those to the center, and your single band, bringing it up. We can then go ahead and loop up this middle section. Going in through all of these bands, grabbing the 3 bands that we have here. So make sure you grab all 3. Bringing those up. Going in, grabbing this single band gently because this is a triple band. So release your tension. And the same thing over here. And then pushing this down some. Then you want to go in past all of these bands, grabbing the first 2 and bringing them up the center, grabbing the next 2, those going to the left, and the next 2 to the right. You now want to stop here, pushing this down. You're going to take your hook and we're going to release the neck. And you can even release the arms. And push all of this down. And we're going to add on some bands now for the snout. So you're going to start over here on the second peg on the left, taking a single brown and double it. Come down once. Just repeat that on the right side. Then a single double. Bringing it in to the center. Repeat that again with a single double. Push this down some. You then want to take 2 brown bands from the second center peg to the third center, and 2 more from the third to the fourth. We are going to take a single black to cap off this section here, and you will be doing that, creating 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3. And then we need to place some crossover bands. So on the second peg down, take a single brown, double it. And this one you're just going to come across in the oval shape. We don't want to do the triangle. And the same thing on the third pegs down, single double, just like that. Now you want to go in through the black cap band, grabbing the first 2 bands, bringing those up. Go ahead and bring the next 2 up, going back in, grabbing the first single double, bringing them to the right, and then bringing these up, and repeat that going to the left. Now we can finish off the rest of this portion of the face. So go in under the right side, grabbing the 2 bands, bringing those up, all the way up to the top. Repeat that on the left. And then bringing up the final center band. And take a single brown, go through the top of your loom, and create your slip knot. Once we've done that, we can remove him from the loom, so let's go ahead and take him off. And we can go ahead and see his eyes are in the back. So just push those forward, like so. Pull out his little ears. I'm going to go ahead and hide his slip knot. And pull out his little snout, as well as his arms. You can take his legs, if you flip him over, and just pull on some of these bands back here. That will kind of bring them in and forward. And then for his foot, go into that double band and pull it towards the back some. And that will make his paw here stick out a little. And then pulling his tail down, and there you go. There's baby Roo. I hope you like him.